News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, partly cloudy sky, 73 degrees, wind gusting as high as 23 miles an hour out of the south pretty steadily at around 16. Tonight, patchy fog before 4 a.m. and that should dissipate at around 8 in the morning, an overnight low of 44. Tomorrow, after the fog clears out in the morning, partly sunny skies and a high near 61. Mostly cloudy and a low of around 39 tomorrow night. Mostly sunny and a high near 64 on Wednesday. High of 64 on Thursday. We're getting set for Wildcat Insider here on News Radio KMAN.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Come see Santa and walk the Luminary Trail November 29th and 30th. For tickets and times, visit sunsetzoo.com.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. This is Wildcat Insider with the Mercury sports editor Tim Everson and KMAN sports director Mitch Fortner.
The word lackluster, I typically save that for Lance Leipold. Because he's lackluster Lance. He's been lackluster Lance since day one. Since he took the job and had the most boring introductory press conference I've ever heard in my life. That was a lackluster offensive performance in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I know K-State's banged up. That was the worst defense the Big 12 had to offer by far. There was a gap between Oklahoma State and the second worst defense in the Big 12, and the Cats put 14 points on the board. Thank Judas that K-State has a defense that can force turnovers, and they are on a trend of forcing turnovers that we really haven't seen in a while. 24 have now been forced this season, 5 on Saturday against Oklahoma State, the most we've seen in a game in 12 years. K-State wins in Stillwater 14-6. More on that here in just a moment, plus in hour number 2, we'll get the thoughts of, as he always joins us on Wildcat Insider, Wyatt Thompson. We have men's basketball that offensively should be boat racing teams. Little bit of a scare as they were boat racing Cal in that first half, right? But Cal started to get kind of insane from three themselves. Made it interesting, but the Cats are 3-0 for the first time since Jerome Tang's first season. The K-State women's basketball team have dropped now 2 in a row, and plus we'll take a look at the Big 12. Welcome to Wildcat Insider. We're back, folks. It's Monday. It's 4:08. Tim's in studio from the Manhattan Mercury and Power Cat Game Day. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson, and across the glass, Cole Dutchendorf with us today. Phone number to call in the text line. Folks, it's open all show. Give me your thoughts on any sport, any topic, Cats related, of course. Questions or comments, 785-537-1350, and I'm sure we're going to get a fair share of questions or comments about either football, men's, women's, basketball, and continuing to move forward as K-State men. They host Tulsa tonight at 7. Tomorrow the K-State women have Troy in Bramlage. They'll tip at 6:30, and Saturday at Utah for a 3 p.m. kickoff, Power Cat Game Day, 11 in the morning. Let's lead off with the football game, shall we? Because, Tim, you were in Stillwater. Kind of paint the picture for me. Because my timeline was full of K-State fans going to the game. I had a long weekend. I was like, I'm going to probably sit this one out, even though I would typically go. So you went. Were there people there?
There were. So we... the media parking garage is a block or two away from Boone Pickens Stadium. So about, a little less than 2 hours before kick, me and Toby Hamas, our other reporter at the Mercury, are walking through the game, and it looks like a ghost town. I mean, there's just barely anyone tailgating. It's just... You would barely know that it was game day. Very strange, because I've been to Stillwater now a couple times, under very different circumstances for Oklahoma State, and it's different than I've ever seen it. And so we get settled down in the press box, and it's pretty empty. They said, 40 some thousand was the final total of folks. The capacity is like 53. Maybe half, maybe 30 generously. Good amount of K-State fans there. I did see a bunch of purple. A bunch of folks made the trip down. But it was pretty dead. Now, Kleiman did say, we asked after the game, he said that on the field, it seemed, the crowd seemed a little more lively. And honestly, it did fill in a little bit as the game was going on. And probably for Oklahoma State fans, this was as in a game that they've been maybe since their loss to Tulsa. I guess they tussled with KU for 3 quarters or so. But back to front, this is probably the most competitive that they've been since the beginning of the season, since before Mike Gundy got fired. So, it makes sense that they would be into it, the folks that were there. But just a kind of an eerie feeling leading up to kickoff. Just not a lot of people. Just not a lot of energy. It felt like. But you know what? That 100% translated to what we saw on the field.
Good for Oklahoma State to run with the shirtless section. The two no shirty one. They've completely ran with that, and that's just an obvious sign that, look, we're trying to have fun here at the ballpark. This team is trash. Hey, here's another reason to come to the game. Let's watch this circus take place in the stands. They have fully embraced it. They've changed the sign in the stadium that says the section, and now it's 2 no shirty 1. And Tim, you thought it was so bad at one time. You were a play or two away from joining them yourself. We talked about it on Power Cat Game Day. I even brought it up. I'm like, what if K-State loses this game? It was close, kinda-ish, to K-State losing. They trailed for most of the first half. They were down 6-0, made it 7-6 at the end of the first. Did not score, did Oklahoma State in the second half. K-State puts one more touchdown on the board and to win it. And, people were pretty bent out of shape about Chris Kleiman's post-game press conference. I didn't pull the clip because at the time I didn't think it was a big deal because I felt like I had heard that kind of comment before. Coach basically just sticking up for his team at the end of the day. But he said, in some respects, it's not an exact quote here, but said, I'm not going to apologize for winning at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a tough place to play. Yes, for him, historically in the, is this the 4th visit for him to Boone Pickens? 0-3. K-State, still under Chris Kleiman, has not scored more than 21 points, including last Saturday. But holy cow. I don't know how many times I had said to myself, quietly watching the offense, Jesus see, and just watching how lackluster it was. Just completely uninspiring. And I'll get to a clip from Avery Johnson here in just a moment. But just for an example, Oklahoma State had 9 more first downs than K-State did. Oklahoma State defensively, and here's the big problem. We all know they're bad. But they are statistically, not even close, the worst Big 12 defense in every major category except for, I believe, it's either rushing or passing. But total defense, points, first, second, third, fourth down, forcing turnovers everywhere. They're the worst of the Big 12. K-State puts up 14 points.
Yeah. Look, I try to see it from Kleiman's side, and I think that in general, you shouldn't apologize for winning. Winning is hard. It is. There are lots of, normally when we have these conversations, K-State has won 3 to 4 more games than they have now. And so there's lots of teams that are struggling to make a bowl game. Well, now you are that team that doesn't have a lot of wins near the end of the season. But look, that is a fine thing to say when you are, barely pulling out a game, versus a team that isn't one of the worst teams in the country. But you gotta find a way to play better than that. You gotta find a way. I know the injuries are real bad. Chris Kleiman went into it more in his press conference today, talking about just how, the lengths that they have to go to in practice to be able to practice. They mentioned one thing that they mentioned that I thought was funny. They're going to have defensive linemen be offensive linemen in practice because Utah sometimes has 6 offensive linemen sets. And K-State does not have enough healthy offensive linemen to make that happen. That's bad. That's not good. I emphasize with that. But look, I think that the fans would appreciate when you put up a performance like that where, look, you needed 4, it is 5, but one was at the end of the half and it was whatever. 4 turnovers. You needed every single one of those to win this game against a team that is, I try to think of different ways to say it, but is terrible, is awful. There are, depending on the, metrics that you look at, there's about 20 different FCS teams that are better metrics-wise than Oklahoma State. There's 1 or 2 Division II teams that are better than Oklahoma State. Like, that's awful. Awful, awful, awful. And if you are a Division I FBS program that is trying to compete amongst the best teams in the country, you can't be doing that at all. At all. This is bad.
Here was Avery Johnson after the game about his play.
Coach Kleiman says they'll never apologize for a win. At the end of the day, that's what we played sports for, is to win, but definitely not satisfied with how I played today. It was one of my worst games I think I played in my college career, and I got to figure out what I can do better, because if I play like that versus Utah, we won't have the same outcome.
I thought it was across the board for the most part, a group effort to be that bad. And Avery is just as guilty as anybody else. In game number 10 of the season, he's throwing passes off target behind his guys. You say, a guy gets a hand on the football, he should catch it. Some of those passes were pretty hard to catch. He had some bad inaccuracies in this game, made some bad decisions in this game. So he was far from – he may have played his worst football game since arriving at K-State, since being a starting quarterback. That was probably Avery's worst game. The offensive line, I saw them kind of roll back into some really bad habits, like just some small fundamental stuff. And even Coach Kleiman brought that up at the press conference today about where he saw the issues, and he said it was a lot of little things. And I thought I saw that as well, just from block assignments. Like, I was always taught as a 7th grader playing junior high football, you got to keep moving your feet, and guys would just stop moving them feet, stay still, and just get demolished on the offensive line. The tight ends were just as guilty. Drop passes, horrible blocking. I was just thinking while I was watching that game, I was like, I'm typically not one to say, the college football playoff and the Big 12's out of the conversation. Now this team's going to probably quit and all that. I'm like, most of these guys still have a chance to play more football. Even if they want to transfer, they want to look good. They don't want to give up. Plus, you're playing college football. You got to be motivated to go play. You got a big opportunity. I felt watching that offense at times as like, this might be a sign of just kind of buying out and quitting, on the season. You lost to Texas Tech. That was your last-ditch effort to be a relevant Big 12 contender. Well, we've already been disappointing enough. Why keep working for it? Like, I honestly, at that point, questioned the will to go play football at that point. But I'm still not going to fully buy into just not even caring at this point. Then you got a much bigger issue on your hands. If that is the case, it could have been just simply a lack of execution. And we've seen that, obviously, more than 3 or 4 times this season, especially from the offensive line. So that is a unit that took a major, major, major step back on Saturday.
Yeah. Just just frustrating. And what's especially frustrating is they had made so much progress. And not only was this, a regression, but it was almost, a full regression all the way back to some of their worst performances of the season. I don't know. I am hopeful that, because we've seen this team bounce back after some bad performances and figure it out. I'm hoping that it was just a road thing, just a weird Stillwater thing that this team has. But I just was not, I've never felt worse after a win, and that includes the North Dakota win, which was, you feel pretty bad after only beating an FCS team by 3. But as I mentioned, according to the metrics that I was looking at, North Dakota, a significantly better team than Oklahoma State. So,
defensively, can't take a break without giving them their flowers, even though you could say it was another sign of bend but don't break. However, you mentioned, the defense, their 5 takeaways were all needed. I thought it was one of the better games for the defensive line. The defense performed in a way they should have. You hold Oklahoma State to 6 points. Even that, that is, better than what most defenses have done against Oklahoma State. You hold them out of the end zone. A couple of teams have done that this year. Another one would be Oregon that has done that at their house, but you went to Stillwater and kept Oklahoma State out of the out of the end zone. Again, you question the buy-in, but Oklahoma State, they figured out after the first quarter they got something to play for today, and that's a win because K-State had nothing going for it offensively. So K-State's defense had to once again put the offense in a major opportunity to go win that game because the defense throughout the entire game did plenty, but what the scoreboard says, it was marginal to go get that win for K-State because the offense wasn't doing enough or should have been doing more than what they should have. Completely unexpiring performance by the offense with Utah on the horizon. Utah's a great team. I mean that is the best combination of offensive line, defensive line that K-State is going to see probably this season, with the exception of probably Texas Tech. I think Utah's defensive line isn't good as Tech's, but their offensive line is better than Tech's, I believe. So it's going to be this could be a nightmare.
Yeah.
At Rice-Eccles Stadium this coming Saturday. Look, I hear you if you're a fan thinking, Mitch, just move on. It's basketball season. The basketball team's 3-0. The men's team is doing pretty well. They're scoring the basketball. I hear you. I hear you on that. I still like to, what K-State's playing for is bowl eligibility, which is the if it is 6-6 or if they somehow pull off a shocker and make it 7-5, that's the mark you still have to make to be still a somewhat relevant football program. That's the bare minimum to be a relevant football program. But I already brought it up at the press conference earlier today because my mind is certainly about moving forward after this season and what's to come, what's going to happen to K-State, because I brought up Austin Romaine. I wanted to know, are they already having conversations because he's out for the season? And is Austin thinking about coming back? Is he thinking NFL? Because I could see it either way. As a matter of fact, last week I thought my mindset was, I think he's gone. If they're going to do this for him, they're going to go ahead and get him his operation and set him up for the future. This could be him just in the program deciding, we're moving on. Austin, you got a bright future ahead of you. We heard from Chris Kleiman earlier today about Austin Romaine's future, and I was a little surprised.
I'm confident that he'll be back at K-State. We've had some conversations, but you try to save a lot of those for the end of the season, whether it's him to Jace Brown to DJ Giddens last year to Jacob Parrish last year. Let him enjoy the college experience, and I know when they get hurt like that, you want to speed that answer up sometimes.
I hear all of you when you're thinking You feel like the football season is over. K-State's playing for a bowl game. It's going to be a bowl game probably not a whole lot of people care about. Yes, I am already thinking offseason because it's going to be just a giant, crucial offseason. If there's going to be some changes made with the coaching staff, the transfer portal, I mean, that's a monster year for the transfer portal. K-State obviously has to make some huge, huge pickups in the transfer portal, but I'm still living in the season. I can't help myself. Even if it is brutal, even if it is it was a completely unexpected disaster of a year, I still take it one game at a time.
Well,
how I'm built.
And look, just moving on from like the day-to-day games, there are guys that have contributed huge amounts to this program who are about to play their last 2 games of the season. Guys like Des Purnell, guys like Damian Elio, guys, I mean, he hasn't, this has not been his best year, but guys like Taylor Portier, guys like Cody Stufflebean, I want for them for this season to go out the best it can possible because they've done, done some great things for K-State and they deserve it. But that is literally, I don't care about the bowl game. I mean, I know it's important for the program to get the money and the extra practices, and that's great. That is literally the only motivating factor I have. Other than that, I'm where you're at. Let's turn the page. Let's do basketball season. Let's get on to next football season.
And it's also interesting because you think bowl game and like the guys that could possibly opt out to get ready for the NFL draft, they're hurt for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Chase Brown, Austin Romaine, and then you of course have Dylan Edwards. He's no longer with the program. The guys you just mentioned that have been key contributors for so many years, they're probably not next level guys, so they're going to probably play in the bowl game. So
yeah.
I wouldn't expect, unless they're going to transfer, the guys you mentioned, they're seniors, aren't going to transfer, but other people could. But those guys, they're in it for the long haul. They're in it for the rest of the year, so I wouldn't expect a whole bunch of crazy changes, especially guys maybe opting out for the bowl game for the next level,
right,
for that to take place. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's get to hoops. Because the K-State men's basketball team, I think it's kind of consistent now. They're showing off their skill a little bit, that they can go score some points. That's coming up next.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Medicare's annual enrollment is here, October 15th through December 7th. It's your chance to review or change your prescription drug plan. Premiums, copays, and even which medications are covered can change every year. Don't risk paying more or having your prescriptions left out. I'm Malia McKinney with L&L Advisors. I'll compare your plans side by side to make sure your medications are covered at the best cost. Local, genuine, and here for you. Call 785-280-9621 today.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Seahawks look like a team built for February. Playmakers, a great defense, and until this weekend, a quarterback in Sam Darnold, who had guided them to a crisp 7-2 start. And his resurgence has been one of the league's great redemption stories. But football is a way of revealing truth under pressure, and that's where the concern begins, or continues. Because of all the gaudy numbers, 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns last season, for a Vikings team that went 14-3, his biggest games brought out his worst football. In the last 3 high-stakes games, he's 0-3. Week 18 against Detroit and last year's wild card round. Yesterday, 4 interceptions and a meltdown against an 8-2 Rams team. The full body of work still paints him as a franchise quarterback, one capable of elevating a Super Bowl-ready roster. But until he rewrites the script under the bright lights, it's hard to have that much trust when the stakes are high. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
I don't serve for the recognition. I serve the flag. The red, white, and blue, that means everything to me. And when I fly it, I know it stands for something real. My name is Megan Terry, and I serve in the U.S. Army, which is why I choose Collins flags. Because every Collins American and military flag is made here in the USA, stitched with pride and built to last. And they support veterans like me because they know what these flags really mean. So if you love our service members and our country like I do, fly a flag that honors them and supports American jobs. Visit collinsflags.com today. American made, proudly waved.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
Yeah, they forced Claude to unlearn all the information it got from the pirated technology.
And it's a $1.5 billion landmark settlement. A reader from the current newsletter sent me a note. He put his name in. He made $6,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not bad for getting a free newsletter.
America's digital goddess,
Kim Commando. Kim Commando. Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio KMAN.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with a Wildcat Insider Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State football was able to move past Oklahoma State in Stillwater for just the second time since 1999 last Saturday, taking down the Cowboys 14-6 behind 5 forced turnovers from the Wildcat defense. Head coach Chris Kleiman said the already injury-riddled team sustained several more injuries.
Obviously, we lose a really explosive player with Jace done for the year. We'll lose him as an explosive player, so it's going to be probably not as many explosive plays without Jace, but hopefully still a really efficient wide receiver group.
K-State will play at Utah this Saturday with kickoff at 3 and PowerCat game day beginning at 11 a.m. K-State women's basketball outscored Texas A&M in the second half on Sunday, but couldn't complete the comeback as they lost to the Aggies 77-72, following the 3-2 on the young season. Head coach Jeff Mitty hopes to have forward Nastia Claessens back from a week-long absence as she participated in the November training camp with the Belgian senior women's national team. Wildcats complete their 4-game homestand Tuesday against Troy with tip at 6:30, pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and Sunny 102.5. K-State men's basketball will look to win its 150th non-conference home game since 2006 tonight as they face Tulsa. Tip at 7, pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock.
Oh, wow, some Tool coming back. Wildcat Insider continues. Mitch, Tim, and Cole with you. Got a few texts coming in about K-State football. The first one that popped out to me was just 2 words, play calling, which we didn't get to in the last segment. Boy, if there was one play that just pissed me off was the Avery Johnson run, short side, completely did not have the numbers. That's been a huge bugaboo for me this year on some of the play call, play designs, which always makes me scratch my head. Are we not seeing the numbers here? Are we at a disadvantage here that we don't have the blocking we should? We're not good enough at hold blocking to make this a high percentage play of success. But I didn't think we had really ran those kind of plays for weeks. Like, I thought we got away from those low percentage plays and got to more successful ones, or at least ones I really liked from the formation start. And then on the not everything works all the time, and I get that. But, man, I was just like, some of those plays, I'm like, what the heck are we doing? I didn't like him, obviously, and I could tell other people didn't like that as well. That was the one play that stood out to me. But, Tim, again, you were there. You probably have a better memory than I do. But that's the one that stood out to me.
Yeah, no, that that one in particular was bad. I was annoyed at some of the Blake Barnett stuff.
Oh, yeah. First time since Baylor.
First time
right?
since Baylor.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I get it. Nothing is working. So might as well see if something can come and be a spark. Well, one thing that really infuriated me, and I tweeted a lot about this, especially early on, Joe Jackson, like first play of the game, run up the middle, 10 yards. And then he doesn't run the ball again until like the second quarter. Like we got Antonio Martin out there before like Joe had like more than 3 runs. And I get the offensive line, bad. We've said this.
Didn't do him any favors.
Bad. But like, if nothing else is working, just try to pound it up the middle with the one person that was able to get something going. And so that was, I think I tweeted at one point, I was like, does Joe Jackson like owe Matt Wells money or something? Did he do something? Did he park in his parking spot? Like,
well, I brought it up at the press conference. I was like, I'm curious about the decisions on the rotations of running backs. As I was surprised both of the times I saw Antonio Martin in the game, and those I think are the only 2 times we've ever seen him in a game. Unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think I've ever called his name at the Bill.
I feel like he maybe played during Army.
Maybe, yeah. I don't. But it was. I'm thinking of Arizona. I'm thinking of Arizona, and I'm thinking, of course, on Saturday against Oklahoma State. But I mean, just so much. I mean, nothing. Not a whole lot was going exactly right. Obviously, drive stalling, too many 3-and-outs, things like that. I don't even want to really go through the rest of the numbers here, but I'll bring up. But I mentioned Avery Johnson because he said earlier that on Saturday he didn't feel like he had a great game. He was 15 of 28 for 1 touchdown, 1 interception for a $177. He got sacked a couple of times. Joe Jackson with 69 yards on the ground and a touchdown, averaged 5 yards per carry. Now to hoops. Tim, are you liking the offensive coordinator for men's basketball?
Yes.
And the new twist to the offense, the success of the offense. Bill Peterson, he's not the OC, but he's an individual, developer. And then, Matthew Driscoll is the OC of this K-State offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we kind of hoped it would be. I think we talked about how we thought that this was kind of the most important move of the offseason. Was Tang bringing Driscoll in, and the results are there. I mean, they're a machine, and I'm it's very exciting. I know we're going to talk about the defense here, and that still gives me quite a bit of pause because we don't know how good Cal is going to be, but we're going to face a lot tougher defenses here probably in the next, couple weeks and going into Big 12 play.
Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of teams, a lot of good teams around the country that their defense is actually pretty questionable. You're seeing a lot of high-scoring games in college basketball so far, so I don't think this is just really a K-State thing. This is a lot of people thing of just not playing the best defense. But, let's go there for a moment, Tim, because – all right, so Cal, first half, they score 34 points. K-State scores 55. Like, that was one of the most fun first halves of K-State basketball that I can remember. I mean, the offense and just hitting these 6 of 8 threes and the free throw line, like, they're just getting to the hoop and scoring in the paint and there's good defense. And I was like, this is a wonderful sign. This is a lot of fun. And then the second half, look, Dede Ames, we knew he was scoring a lot of points. He scored 25. He was 5 of 6 from 3. The X factor was Chris Bell, who came in the first 3 games. He had hit 2 threes, I think, and then he goes 7 of 9. And I still thought during that second half that K-State was playing good defense. Good as in comparable to what we had seen previously. It was actually a bigger jump than I thought we were going to see. I thought this would be a high-scoring game. After K-State's first half, I didn't think Cal would get within 3 after K-State led by 25 at one point. I just thought Cal, I mean, I don't want to call it fluky. They just had an insane run of hitting shots. An insane run. I still thought K-State's defense at that time was still good. I mean, Chris Bell going off was the reason that Cal made that a game late. But look, I still think we'll see if K-State's defense continues to take steps in the right direction. I think they have been. But, Tulsa, which we'll get to MitchPom a little bit later on, that is another one of those teams that's scoring a bunch of points. Not as much as Cal, not as much as K-State. And then defensively, they're not great. But they got guys that can go score the basketball. So, K-State just needs to find, I suppose, just more ways of making stops. I think that's where the development is right now. Offensively, holy crap, can this team score? I mean, they're still number one in the country in making threes.
Yeah, and the thing that really excited me, I think we get kind of the new thing that pops up every game that excites me. Like after the Bellarmine game, for me it was how good Kamari McGriff played. But after Cal, David Castillo, man. I mean, look, they said it, and I didn't believe them because they've just said a lot of things in the past. We've believed a lot of things, and it's like, look, all right, I'm gonna have to see it. He's got some swag to him now. I mean, he is as advertised as a shooter, which is excellent news for K-State to have a guy like that coming off the bench. But he is going to be a legit guy for this team coming off the bench, and that's huge to have that. And it's huge because it's going to be, he will know that, and this is a fact, he will be Jerome Tang's first homegrown success story in his time here. And that's great. I love that.
19 against Bellarmine, 16 against Cal. David Castillo in the last two games is 9 of 11 from three-point range, and he's now averaging 14 points per game. That is third best on the team of a team that's scoring over 90 points per game. So there's a lot of scores. I mean, he is an example of what this team is just full of, and that's confidence. There's no doubt about that. But David has become a surprise six-man. Like, you want him to be the first guy off the bench to add more electricity to this thunderstorm of an offense. It's just lightning everywhere. And honestly, and I'm going to repeat what Tang said, because I was like, man, that's kind of crazy to say. But then I was like, okay, I thought about it. I was like, he says PJ Haggerty's not playing that great right now. I'm like, really? 24 points per game? It's pretty good. His turnover numbers are too high. His passing is pretty good. I think still in the first half you're seeing him, like, for example, like, what did K-State get out to? What was that opening run? It was actually the 25, when they were up 25 points. Had PJ scored at that point yet? He didn't score. He was late to the party. K-State was already up easily double figures, and he hadn't even scored yet. I mean, to me, that may look like it's Tang thinking, this guy's just not playing great yet. He's not opening up games very well. But if you could still get that explosive offense without PJ scoring the basketball, that's pretty amazing. With all of that being said, though, I think Nate Johnson has been K-State's best player, certainly all around. Confident scorer. He can shoot from all three levels. He is very quick. His speed is very underrated. And then, of course, his defense, well, he's the best on the team.
Yeah, I mean, and they just have, and then so many other guys that have been showing flashes. We saw, I think the Cal game was Doreen Buka's best game that he's had since he's been in Manhattan. I mentioned Kamari McGriff, who has
he was unguardable,
which is what Tang said. Yeah. He figured out that they can't guard him, which is, it's a baller thing to be able to say to someone. One, and two, there was 100% right. And I think he was another guy who was like, well, that's interesting, but he's a guy that wasn't starting for a UNC Wilmington team. Even they made the NCAA tournament, but a sixth man is going to come. Yeah, no, he is legit. Now he doesn't have the size maybe for but he's super strong and in general can handle a lot of what you need down there. So I mean, I'm still waiting to see what happens. This week is going to be huge. The Tulsa game is the Tulsa game, but playing Mississippi State, they're a good team, and then either Nebraska or New Mexico, that will really kind of show me how legit this is. But
this is a big week.
I'm having fun. Having fun.
This is a huge week. Tulsa tonight, Kansas City Thursday and Friday. One other thought here about the men's basketball team. We saw MitchPom coming up in second hour to preview Tulsa. I think there's only one player that I believe right now is kind of playing under his expectations. But it's not really because of bad reasons, because the numbers are still phenomenal, is Abdi Bashir. And I thought after his UNC Greensboro game, he was 4 of 8 from 3. I was like, guys, that is a quiet night. That's a quiet night for Abdi Bashir. He was 5 of 9 from 3 against Bellarmine, 15 points. Still felt like kind of a quiet night. And then against Cal, his offensive output wasn't he did a great job passing the basketball. He had a season high in assists with 5. I thought that was great. He was definitely more of a factor on the defensive end. Like, he took steps in the right direction in other areas. Just wasn't needed necessarily to score a whole lot. He took 4 shots in the game. He hit 2 3-pointers. He finished with 7 points. Like, Abdi, what he still has in the tank of being a contributor to being just an electric scorer, like, we're going to see games where he's going to hit 7, 8, maybe 9 threes in a game. It's only a matter of time, I think, until he has his game or has a string of games and makes K-State just that much better. Like, he's averaging 13 a game. And I'm calling him a quiet player right now, which is kind of crazy to say, but that's just, honestly, that's the truth. It's the truth. Let's take a timeout. And after a break, couple of quick thoughts on the women's basketball team and last week in the Big 12 after these words.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the holidays. In this corner, the challengers, lacing up their boots, scanning the clues, ready to rumble, the hunters. And in the other corner, the reigning and defending champion of the holidays, the legendary Jingle Bell Rock, who will conquer the cold and claim the gold.
It's almost time for the biggest, brightest, merriest event of the year. The hunt for the G. Thomas Jewelers, Godfrey's Indoor Ranges and Tactical Supply Jingle Bell Rock is about to begin. Celebrate the season with the longest-running Shop Local campaign. For a shot at bragging rights, glory, and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. Clues start Monday, December 1st. This could be the year you find the G. Thomas Jewelers, Godfrey's Indoor Ranges and Tactical Supply Jingle Bell Rock.
At Stormont Vale Health, our patients are our neighbors and our communities our home.
We invest in your health and our community by bringing high-quality healthcare closer to home. From our Wamego Clinic to our new campus in Manhattan and the Flint Hills Hospital in Junction City. Our partnerships with organizations like the Mayo Clinic and the Children's Miracle Network bring top-notch expertise to our region. We take pride in local collaboration to stay connected to our communities. Visit StormontVale.org.
Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care closer to home.
An invitation to a night where light dances with shadow and masks reveal more than they hide. On January 31st, step into The Light Within, a Phantom's Ball for Change, presented by Light MHK. An evening of art, music, and transformation. Behind every shimmer and spark, there's a purpose: to raise funds for those seeking mental health care and support right here in our community.
Sold in the back row. Thank you very much. You're the buyer.
Bid on unforgettable experiences in our live and silent auctions, dance beneath the lights, and help make a real change. Tickets available now at lightmhk.com. That's lightmhk.com. Because even in the darkest moments, the light within can change everything. Presented by Manhattan Broadcasting and Light MHK.
Break in all the benefits of fall at Blueville Nursery. Fall is the perfect time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials. Warmer soil temps and cooler air temps give plants just what they need to thrive and reduce stress next summer. Plant fall bulbs to get an early dose of color next spring. Don't forget to apply fertile and winterizer to your lawn. Louisville Garden Store is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4. Come give us a visit at Louisville Nursery, where you'll always find the friendly smile and expert advice. Located at the corner of Scenic Drive and Anderson and Manhattan.
I totally forgot to bring up from the scorers table what I heard from Cal coach Mark Madsen during that first half when K-State was just going off. I can't remember who made the shot, but like K-State was just on a roll in the first half, and he goes, "Holy blank," just kind of says it to himself, turns around to his bench and goes, "Do they have anybody that can't score?" I was like, that's a good sign. That's a good thing to hear as a K-State fan. He was a madman too. I mean, he was a mad son of a gun.
Anything? What happened when he got teed up? Because it wasn't that they called a foul on K-State.
He was out of the box.
I see.
He was out of the coaching box. He had already been warned.
Okay, that makes sense.
He got warned once. There was a bench warning, and then he stepped out. And Brooks Wells, "Coach, out of the box!" Beep, teed him up.
I was gonna say that didn't seem like there was a ton there.
That was a referee crew, by the way. I mean, that was a referee crew of personality. Gosh, who was it? Who's the one we don't like?
Padilla.
I thought he was great. I loved him. He was great. He was on top of everything. Not a bad call all night.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho. Let's get to a little bit on K-State women's basketball. Really tough run for them lately. They're missing a couple of starters right now. No Janessa Cotton. She did not play yesterday against Texas A&M in the loss. After K-State was down 13, they stormed all the way back to tie it up. They fall short by 5, and then a loss to South Dakota after a gal that hadn't taken a 3 all game. Yeah. Makes one with like a second to go. But K-State also playing without Nastia Klassens, who would probably be in the starting lineup as well. One of your 2 players right now averaging double figures. She's supposed to be coming back today, right? Klassens?
Yeah, that's what Mitty said, is that she
may or may not play Tuesday.
Mitty said that he was like, if she's here, she's playing. So Cotton though is probably won't see her until maybe the Green Bay game.
I thought the South Dakota game just sucked.
It was bad.
It was
bad.
That was really rough, really, really rough to watch. And so was kind of the first half against A&M. Yeah. We saw some heart. Yeah. We saw some drive. We saw some improvement in the second half against A&M.
Well, and it was the freshman, right? Look, without without Cotton, and then without
Terrence hurt. And Terrence hurt with she got banged up shoulder.
Terrence a little banged up. Look, they needed those freshmen to kind of figure it out and step up, and all 4 of them did their part. Anya Foy hit some big threes in the first half to kind of keep the crazy. A&M shot 70% in the second quarter to kind of keep them within arm's distance. Brady Harrod hit the game tying bucket, and she also was one of the only forwards that was healthy and available, so she was having to carry a big load. Jordan Spicer finally found her shot. She was very excited, very happy about that. She went for like 4 for 7. It was her first game with multiple 3-point makes. And then Gina Garcia continues to be kind of a stud. I feel bad because I feel like
she's a Serena Sundell.
Yeah, I think I just completely underrated how impactful she would end up being. Because I looked at Taryn, I looked at Tess Heel, who also had a really good game, and I just kind of figured they would be kind of the main ball handlers, main point guard type players on this team, and Gina has kind of stepped forward and kind of can do it all. It's very exciting Look, they lost. I think that the first quarter against Omaha maybe gave fans a slightly inflated expectation of what this team is going to be able to do. They shot out of their minds in that quarter. They had to come back to earth a little bit. Mitty, and it was funny because Mitty was not happy after that Omaha game. It was just like, look, I don't know where we are offensively. A lot of that was in transition. And then that proved itself over the next couple games. It seems like they're starting to figure out what their roles need to be, what the level of effort needs to be for some of those younger players that are dealing with college athletics for the first time. It'll be interesting to see. Troy's a very, very winnable game, as is, the trip to Green Bay. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they can get a couple wins, get their feet back from under them, get Nastya and getting Janessa back healthy. That they can still be very competitive, but this is going to be a growing pains type season. And I think that is just something you have to be okay with. If you remember back to 2021 when Serena and the Glenn twins were all freshmen, that had its shares of ups and downs too. But the payoff, if you get them all to kind of stick with it, you see what that is, and it's massive. And the talent is there for the core that they have. And so it's going to be fun to watch them grow. That's what I've enjoyed so far through the first couple games, as you already see the growth that's being made game to game.
They're 3-2 and looking for a bounce back on tomorrow night against Troy. Let's look at this past week in the Big 12. Let's start with football. Texas Tech with, a monster win over UCF, 48-9. No doubt, even though not all the national people are talking about him, they should be. Jacob Rodriguez is absolutely in my top 3 for the Heisman vote. He scored a touchdown on offense because Joey McGuire said, I heard there's all this talk about quarterbacks, so we had him play quarterback. And then, Texas Tech is going to play for a Big 12 championship. BYU takes a big step in that direction as well, beating TCU 44-13. And Cincinnati losing to Arizona 30-24 has helped open that door for BYU.
Absolutely. Houston is still in it a little bit now that Cincinnati's out. If things, not by a lot, but still, it's crazy. I don't know. It's going to be an exciting last couple weeks for everyone but K-State.
Technically, K-State's not mathematically eliminated, so there's always a chance. I have no idea what it's going to take, though, to make that happen. Let's go to basketball, some Big 12 finals. Iowa State. K-State's going to play Mississippi State on Thursday. Iowa State beat them 96-80. Meanwhile, Texas Tech falling at Illinois 81-77, despite JT Toppin scoring 35 points in that game. Arizona beats number 15 UCLA 69-65. Arizona now, I believe, is number 4 in the country. TCU almost beat number 6 Michigan. After we made fun of them for losing to New Orleans, they almost beat number 6, 67-63. BYU with a huge comeback, but they fall short to UConn, 86-84. And then number 1 Houston hangs on by 1 point to beat Auburn, 73-72. But Houston, because of that, they dropped to number 2. Purdue is at number 1 in the AP poll. That's going to wrap it up for hour number 1 of Wildcat Insider. When we come back, we got a jam-packed hour 2, folks. Don't go anywhere. The voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson, will join us just after CBS and your local news, plus MitchPom versus Tulsa. You'll never believe who went to school at Tulsa. Well, famous alumni may have play a factor tonight in the game in Bramlage. That's coming up next on Wildcat Insider.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
WTC Fiber Internet is on its way to all of Manhattan. Sign your home or business up today at WTCKS.com. No contracts, no data caps, or overage fees. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet. Sign up today at WTCKS.com.
It's time for spring cleanup. Find what you need in the brands you love at Midwest Ace Hardware. Make yard cleanup easy with Ego or Stihl trimmers and blowers. Fertilize and seed your lawn with Scotts. And enjoy cookouts all summer long with Traeger, Blackstone, Weber, or Big Green Egg. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
This Saturday is K-State's final road game of the 2025 regular season as the Wildcats visit the Utah Utes. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. That means PowerCat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will start at 11 a.m. PowerCat Game Day brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to PowerCat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com.
It's hard to understand people on TV, so you use closed caption because you can't understand or hear them. Guess what? You don't have to live like that. I know because I solved my hearing loss with the help of hearing aids from Focus Hearing, a locally owned hearing center that offers all major brands. They accept all Medicare plans and have better pricing than the national franchises. Let Focus Hearing let you hear again. 913-380-4200 or online at myfocushearing.com.
I'm PJ Glassrose, sending in here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Can I interest anyone in taking Charlotte plus 45.5 this upcoming Saturday versus Georgia? Kirby Smart is 0-15 against the spread as a favorite of 38 points or more. His teams always win these games, but they never cover. This is a sandwich spot game in between Texas and Georgia Tech next week. Feels like the perfect spot to fade Georgia again as a big favorite. I'm PJ Glassrose, send it in on the BetMGM Network. Bet smart and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
KS State Bank wants to be your bank. Find the solutions you've been looking for at ksstate.bank. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan. The information you need is here. 1350 AM, 93.3 and 93.7 FM. This is KMAN's Morning News. Now, the latest news from the News Radio KMAN and Manhattan Mercury Newsroom.
Cole Dutchendorf with you, going to take you through a look at our local headlines this afternoon. The future of an indoor aquatic center in Manhattan appears to be more uncertain in the wake of the November 4 election. At the November 10 Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting, board member Joe Knopp said the results signaled strong concerns from voters about future spending.
I think that those are lessons we ought to be paying attention to and including them as we make future strategy decisions.
City officials mailed surveys to registered voters on November 3rd, gauging levels of support for such a project, including funding. Parks and Rec Director Aaron Stewart says it was specifically sent to a randomized sample of registered voters.
The way they do that, we purchased the registered voters roll. We sent that to ETC. They'll randomize select out of that. They will mail a paper copy to the address of the registered voter. It has a QR code. They can answer it online, but it has to match up with the randomized selection.
The department is seeking just over 400 completed surveys from a random sample of registered voters. Results are expected in January or February. An online version of the survey is available, but those responses will not be included in the official statistical analysis. If you don't have New Year's Eve plans, you can head down to the Press, where they will have live music and fun. Founder of Alliance Realty, Derek Richards, says the Press opens in 3 weeks and will feature 2 bands on New Year's Eve, making it the biggest night so far for the building.
So we have a New Year's concert planned, so if you don't have any New Year's Eve plans, please come to the Press. We have Ultimate Fakebook, which is a gigantic, historic Manhattan rock band that they are going to play. We got Pink Fuzz out of Denver, Colorado. It's going to be an amazing inside concert. Way to kick off the whole thing.
Formerly known as the Ag Press building, the new renovations of the building will allow weddings, live music, and other events like birthdays and ceremonies. Despite the new renovations, Richard says the Press will not be a competitor to other event spaces in the area, like Wareham Hall or Union Hall.
Union Hall and us are going to have enough business to go around. We're going to have enough clientele. We're just in different spots with different identities. The Wareham is completely on a whole different scale. I am not a competition to the Wareham. I'm not even close to that. We're totally different.
The Press building is located at 1531 Yuma Street and is planning its reopening later this month. For more information or to schedule an event, go to thepressvenuemhk.com. The Salvation Army's 360 Life Center in downtown Manhattan has reopened after more than 3 months of renovations and 4 years of planning. The center on Points Avenue is now up to fire code with a new sprinkler system, an expanded kitchen, and more space for community programs. Director Susan Evans says the upgrades boost the building's capacity from 49 people to 250, allowing the center to better serve meals, host services, and operate as a warming and cooling shelter. The reopening comes just in time for the holiday kettle season. Outreach coordinator Carla Johnson says this year's fundraising goal is $50,000, with bell ringers starting Saturday. Thursday's kickoff event featured Christmas trees, carols, and a visit from Santa as the center prepares for a busy winter season. AAA is hosting a food drive in connection with the Flint Hills Breadbasket. AAA Manager of Public and Government Affairs Sean Stewart says AAA has been a big part of the community for years, and they know more people are dealing with financial hardship and food insecurity than ever before.
More and more people are dealing with financial hardship these days, including food insecurity. So AAA Kansas wants to help out and give people a hand up as we enter the holiday season.
Stewart says AAA chose to give donations to the Flint Hills Breadbasket because they are a great charity that's been in Manhattan for years.
The Flint Hills Breadbasket does a great job in helping get food out to those who need it. So it made sense for us to partner with them and provide these donations to their food pantry.
AAA is only accepting non-perishable food items. You can drop items off at 321 Southwind Road along Sethchild Road. The food drive is live now until the end of the year. I've been Cole Dutchendorf with your local news. We'll send it back to Wildcat Insider after a weather update here on News Radio KMAN.
News is powered by Central National Bank with locations at the Walmart Supercenter and at College and Claflin. Central National Bank, member FDIC. News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 70 degrees with overcast skies, winds out of the south at around 7 miles per hour. Tonight, patchy fog between 4 and 8 in the morning with an overnight low of 44 as we head to tomorrow after that fog dissipates in the morning, partly sunny skies and a high near 61. Tomorrow night, a low of around 39, moving to Wednesday, mostly sunny and a high near 64. 40% chance of showers on Thursday with partly sunny skies and a high near 64 in the afternoon.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
Apparently, there's some patchy fog on the way. I don't know.
Or fatchy pog, some are saying.
Is that what you said?
I did.
I've been there, man.
Had a slip up there. I almost got through the news on the weather without a break, but couldn't quite get it to the finish line.
I slip up all the time. I can't talk. Hour to the game after work. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury and Power K Game Day. Cole Dutchendorf. Speaking of a slip up, holy crap, did I have one yesterday. First time I've ever done this, and I take full blame on this, man. Women's basketball game last night. I'm doing the starting lineups, and I make one little mistake because now I guess I typically like to handwrite out the lineup just so I have it down. I kind of have it in my mind on what's to come, and it's what kind of a lot of play-by-play people do. Just write down their notes so they remember it better. And with women's basketball, it's a little different than how I used to do it. But I adjusted. I just made some marks next to the names. And I made a mistake, and I accidentally put a mark by Janessa's name, not Tessa's name. And I could hear, I was like, I announced Janessa's name, and there's no cheers. I was like, what the hell? And I was like, I finished. Here's head coach Jeff Meddy. And old Coach Nick comes storming up. He's power walking like Vince McMahon up to the microphone. Like, you got the lineup wrong. What? And so I start looking around. I was like, oh, my God. That was all on me. I screwed up. That was all on me. Man, that's the first time I'd ever done that. I just misread the numbers that were marked for the starting lineup.
So did you say, like, just kidding, this is who's actually starting?
No, I didn't catch it until somebody said something, and I'm like, I was like, guys, that's my bad. I put down 24, not 34. I felt so bad. It's still on my conscience. I'm like, I've never made that mistake until yesterday. I was like, so if we lose that game, it's on me. Bad mojo or bad juju to start out the game. So, and people were coming up to me after the game. It was like there's multiple people that came up, be like, was Janessa late scratch? I heard the announcing the lineup, but she wasn't out there. I was like, no, that was just me making a mistake. That was all on me. But anyway, so I don't think I'm suspended or anything or going to lose my job. Anywho, we ready to go, Cole, with our special? Not yet. All right, we're going to get Wyatt on the phone here, and we're going to talk some football. We're going to talk some basketball. The voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson, here in just a little bit. You know, speaking of weather, I was looking at Salt Lake City during the break, and it looks like it's going to be cooler, of course. 51, the high for for them, it's going to be a 2 p.m. kickoff, and I mean that's one of the warmest times of the day. So the weather should be fine. Not seeing any rain in the forecast. Mostly sunny, 51, staying above freezing for Saturday night. So the weather should be great. Now, Rice-Eccles Stadium, though, they're playing for a college football playoff berth. They're trying to play for maybe a chance to make, potentially, you never know, the Big 12 championship game. Probably won't happen. But Utah is the real deal. That's going to be a real tough one for the Cats. On Saturday, last I checked, K-State was a 17.5-point dog going into Rice-Eccles Stadium. Oh, we're now joined by the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. Wyatt, I asked the boys this question on Power Cat Game Day on Saturday morning. I'm going to ask you the same question. Because it all started with a sister daring a brother for $10 to go take his shirt off in an empty section to wave his shirt around like a helicopter. How much money would it take for you, Wyatt, to do that same thing in an empty section to try to get their team going?
Of all of the things you could have asked me, that would have been the last thing I thought you might ask of me. But, boy, it's caught on fire, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I will say this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's going to sound like it. I don't know that there is enough money if you want to know the truth. I'm not that kind of guy. I never have been. And I guess that's just the bottom line. What do you think of that answer, huh?
It's not a surprising answer. I'm sure Stan would probably give the same answer too.
Sure. I think so.
What was your takeaways from that win in Stillwater? I mean, watching it at home, it was a rough watch, to be honest with you. The offense didn't play very well. The defense comes through with 5 takeaways, but I would imagine that is not how you pictured that game going.
No, not at all. If you'd have said to me before the game K-State was going to win the game 14-6, it just would have made no sense at all. You had an Oklahoma State team giving up almost 40 points a game, an Oklahoma State team that was averaging only about 15.5 points a game, and K-State had been playing a little bit better football lately. And in this particular game, they didn't necessarily run it very well. They didn't throw it very well. Avery said after the game to most of the media, it was one of his poorer games in his time at K-State. I just think, Coach addressed some of this today at his press conference, but he kind of indicated that, they were playing kind of stiff and maybe not just throttle wide open sort of thing, and maybe just trying more not to lose because it had been so long since K-State had won there than they were just to get after it and win the line of scrimmage like I think all of us thought they were going to do and didn't do.
Kleiman said that the alarms for the team go off for an 11 a.m. kick at 6 a.m. When does yours go off?
Well, in this particular case, my alarm went off at about 4:30 because we stayed actually in Oklahoma City and then had to drive to Stillwater, which isn't a real long drive until you consider there was a wreck that nobody was anticipating and a little bit of road construction that kind of somewhat took us on a different route.
The worst.
We got there still in plenty of time, though. But I'm an early guy anyway. You know that. About the time I got up on Saturday morning, is roughly the time I have been getting up, daily anyway. So it wasn't any real big deal. And this time of year, with all of the prep work, with all of the games and stuff, you get kind of somewhat used to the travel and the hours and, the changing, schedules and all that kind of stuff. You just get, I'm not saying get immune to it, but you adjust and you get used to it.
Another thing that stands out to me about the win against Oklahoma State, but you lose a player in Jace Brown. How significant is that loss? It sounds like we're going to get a little bit healthier with some other guys, but you lose your best wide receiver. Now all of a sudden K-State's missing with 2 games to go. You could probably argue 3 of their top 5 players on the entire team.
Yeah, and it's been one of those years, hasn't it? And I know most people don't want to hear those types of things, but if you go back and you look at what this team has lost, whether it's Dylan Edwards with his scenario or Jace Brown now or Toby Osunsami, obviously with Austin Romaine. I mean, that, even George Fitzpatrick, when this all started way back in July, that is a pretty healthy dose of talent that K-State, for different reasons, will not have going into the last couple of games, and in some cases haven't had for quite a while. With K-State struggling a little bit offensively right now anyway, and Jace being the one real big home run threat potential, it's from my perspective, it's a pretty monumental loss. And I'm told that he was very emotional when he found out, about the injury and was quite upset, as you might imagine. I think Jace has had a fine year, and I think they're going to miss him. Yeah, it'll help having Bradley back, no question, but, JB he's been fine, but he too has been one that's missed quite a few games with that, thumb and hand injury. So there's this frustration there. But losing Jace is, from my perspective, pretty monumental.
Are you looking forward to this trip to Utah? I don't know if you've ever called a game there, but they call it, people say it's a tough place to play. I've seen it on TV myself. It looks pretty crazy.
It is. I've been there many times in my CSU days, but it's different now than it was then. They were a member of the Western Athletic Conference when I first got into that league, and then later the Mountain West. And they've always had, pretty good athletic teams. But, when they were afforded the opportunity to get into the Pac-12, I think they just, 2 things happened. Right before that, you might remember, and I don't remember exactly what year it was. You probably could look it up and tell me, but not that many years ago, but it's been a while now, they were afforded the opportunity to host the Winter Olympics. And the Olympic people just did amazing things with some of their athletic facilities. And they had some good facilities, but as an example, Rice-Eccles Stadium, they had not done anything to it for a long time. And when the Olympics came along, they did a ton of work there, and they've done more since then. And being in the Pac-12 and all of that and what have you has helped them immensely. And now, they struggled last year because they didn't have consistent quarterback play and so many guys were hurt, but you knew they weren't going to be down very long. They're really a very, very fine, tough, physical team that's pretty deep in a lot of areas, and will be a challenge. I've always enjoyed doing games there, but this one is one where you you better strap it on because I think they are playing exceptionally well right now. And I don't know if you've looked at a lot of the numbers yet, Mitch, but I'll just throw this your way. They are averaging about 278 yards a game rushing. To put that into perspective for you, that's just over 80 yards better than the next best team in the league. That's incredible. Their 2 losses are at home against Tech and at BYU, so they've had a really nice season, no doubt.
Yeah, if you didn't bring it up, I was going to bring it up for sure because, that freshman QB just tore it up, and they're running the ball extremely well. By the way, 2002 was the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. It'll return to Salt Lake City in 2034, and Rice-Eccles Stadium will be hosting the opening closing ceremonies. So
and there you go. I was thinking you said 2002, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the year that I came from Colorado to Manhattan. Probably should have remembered that a little bit better, but I knew, like I say, it's been a while, but you would have had to, Mitch, like I did, experience Rice Eccles prior to that. It was an okay stadium, but again, they had not done anything to it for a long, long time, and they needed to put, some effort into it and some money, and it's a whole different animal now. There's a lot more people now, 30 some years later than there was then too, and that matters. And with all of these games on television, the interest is just through the roof, right or wrong for most of these programs. So they're a different animal, I guess I'm trying to say, than what they were back in the day.
So heading into this weekend, are you going to call the games in Kansas City and then go out to Salt Lake City Saturday morning?
Stan and I are going to call the game on Thursday. They've made the decision. Ben Boyle and I talked about this, and Brian Smoller too, about we were supposed to, Stan and I, leave out of Kansas City on Saturday morning, but when the game was announced as a 3:00 start, I think Ben felt it was too risky. We didn't want to leave, one person like a Matt Walters in charge of and by himself for an 8-hour football broadcast. So we're going to have Wade Gerstner, who's done some games for us in the past, do the men's play-by-play on Friday night, and Clint Stewart's going to do radio color. He's going to do TV tonight with Ben here at Bramlage for the Tulsa game. So that'll be perfectly fine. I don't like missing games, but this one makes sense, and so we'll do the game Thursday night. Then Stan and I will come back to Manhattan on Friday, go with football out to Salt Lake, call the game, come back, and then leave Monday for Indiana. So there you go.
Well, let's talk here briefly then about the men's basketball team. Did you think when Cal was coming back in the last game, they were coming back? Do you think K-State was playing bad defense during that stretch?
At times they were, yeah. But also Cal got on a roll. They had enough guys that were shooting the ball really well. I mean, you saw them, right? I mean, they had a couple of guys just making everything, and sometimes that happens. Would they score 62? I think it was in the second half.
I believe that's right.
So, as I think it was 62-44 after K-State led 55-34 at half. So it kind of gives you an idea that both teams were, K-State in the first half and them in the second, were on a different level of shooting the basketball. I thought they were good. I don't know that they're great, but I think some of it was, probably not the defense that K-State wanted to play. Some of that was easy baskets on some K-State turnovers that they've had some issues with. So, yeah, I think you roll it all into one and you get what you got.
Well, to wrap up, here in our next segment, I'm going to do my MitchPom breakdown of Tulsa, but I'll let you give the couple of keys to the game on what you think it's going to take for K-State to get this win over Tulsa tonight.
I think they're a very interesting team. They're about 9 deep. The two people that, if you're out there driving and coming to the game, watch number 23, David Green. He's 6'7" and 225, but he can play inside and out. He's not a big three-point shooter, but he can do that. But he's really, really active, very tough, goes hard to the basket. Probably as hard-nosed a guy as they have, and they have a couple of other guys that are like that, including Ian Smichael off the bench and a kid by the name of Ramad Dean, who's a transfer from Fordham. The other guy I would probably mention, maybe two, is the guards of Miles Barnstable, who's a very interesting guy. He spent some time at Division III at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and then at St. Thomas, Division II. So he's gone Division III, Division II, Division I. But what you're going to notice is he can shoot the lights out. He's about 44% from three. And then Tylen Riley, 6'3", 190. He's a point guard that plays downhill, and he's really tough. And I don't think anybody's going to, you better guard him, because if he's going to take it right to the rack if you don't, and he's going to do it with authority. They're an interesting club. I don't know how good they are really, because their schedule hasn't been great, but we said that about Cal, and they ended up being decent. So we'll see how this plays.
All right, Wyatt, I will be seeing you in Bramlage here in about an hour. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yes, sir, buddy. Great talking to you, man. Thank you.
What did I say, an hour? Half an hour, whatever it is. What time is it? 5:24? About a half hour. Get there, eat some food, get ready to public address announce a big game, and I hope there's a great crowd. great student section. Seems like more and more students are coming to the games now that we're getting a little deeper into the season. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, MitchPom, official prediction, K-State, Tulsa. We've crunched the numbers. I've taken a little sip on it myself to take the edge off. Is MitchPom picking K-State or Tulsa? We'll find out next.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
My name is Lauren. I am one of the nurses in Interim Hospice. At Interim, we're a family-owned company, and we use that approach to support our families and our customers. I take phone calls from families, people in our community, answer questions, and help guide them in making some difficult decisions. Having a family-owned business, that completely changes the way that our customers or community are approached, because you can tell we're not a corporate-driven company. We build relationships, we will listen to those in the community, and we will hear you so that we can give you the best services available. Interim Hospice is here to help you focus on your quality of life, to have the absolute best days possible, no matter the amount of days that you have left.
We care, we're there, Interim Healthcare.
It's the biggest savings event of the year. Menards, 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day. Save big money on everything you need for any project. We've got something for everyone. Homeowners, contractors, DIYers, the kids, and even grandma. Hurry, Menards 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day.
Save big money at Menards.
11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See menards.com for details.
This holiday season, experience the magical sound of Celtic Woman. Celtic Woman Symphony Christmas Tour 2025. Friday, December 5th, Kansas State University McCain Auditorium. Featuring Celtic Woman's favorite Yuletide songs with the thrilling sound of a full symphony orchestra. Tickets on sale now at mccain.k-state.edu. Celtic Woman Symphony Christmas Tour 2025.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's perfect. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Ramsey Show.
How do I protect myself from inheriting a timeshare?
So basically, a timeshare is a liability. It's a bill. So you're not going to end up owning this because you won't sign the transfer papers. They may take some of the parents' assets because it's very hard to get rid of. And one lawyer calls it legalized fraud. You can't give us enough money to take it. It's a poison pill.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show, weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Wildcat Insider Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State football was able to move past Oklahoma State in Stillwater for just the second time since 1999 last Saturday, taking down the Cowboys 14-6 behind 5 forced turnovers from the Wildcat defense. At Monday's press conference, head coach Chris Kleiman gave an update on the future of star linebacker Austin Romaine, who will not play again this season due to injury.
I'm confident that he'll be back at K-State. We've had some conversations, but you try to save a lot of those for the end of the season, whether it's him to Jace Brown to DJ Giddens last year to Jacob Parrish last year. Let them enjoy the college experience, and I know when they get hurt like that, you want to speed that answer up sometimes.
K-State will play at Utah this Saturday with kickoff at 3, PowerCat game day beginning at 11. K-State women's basketball outscored Texas A&M in the second half on Sunday, but couldn't complete the comeback as they lost to the Aggies 77-72, falling to 3-2 on the young season. The Wildcats will complete their 4-game homestand Tuesday against Troy with tip at 6:30, pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and Sunny 102.5. K-State men's basketball will look to win its 150th non-conference home game since 2006 tonight as they face Tulsa at 7 with pregame at 6 on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock.
Here's MitchPom with tonight's prediction.
I'll get to that here in a second, but I got a text from Coach Nick during the last segment because I talked about how I messed up on the starting lineup yesterday. Well, it goes from bad to worse because apparently now we just got word that Tess Hill's family is in from Australia. They were at the game last night. I don't know their names, but I hear they just come from basketball royalty in Australia, so I could be banned now. I'm not sure. I owe them a big apology. I'm very sorry about that. I will take them out to dinner. I'll do whatever they need. We can watch Crocodile Dundee. We can watch the Shrimp on the Barbie. We can watch whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to do. I do love those movies, by the way, especially Crocodile Dundee. Probably told me to take a walkabout right out of the stadium after that. Anywho, we got to.
Speaking of Tess Hill, she was fan. That was the first time we had gotten to talk to her. And she was great to talk to. So you can tell. Mitty said that she's been maybe the biggest leadership presence on the team so far this season, and you could tell whenever she came up and talked to media. So.
Well, let's predict K-State and Tulsa. Both teams are 3-0. Tulsa leads the all-time series 7-2. Dating back to 1965, K-State did win the last meeting, though, 69-67. What the Cats have done lately is obviously score a lot of points, coming off a 99-96 win over Cal to start the season 3-0 for the first time since Jerome Tang's first season. Cal scored 62 points in the second half. Now, according to the notes that K-State put out after the game, the 195 combined points, the most scored in Bramlage Coliseum history, surpassing 194. Folks, who remembers this game? K-State versus Marshall, December 1995, where K-State won 106-88. By the way, it was the best field goal percentage in Jerome Tang history here at K-State, 64.5%. Now let's get to Tulsa. By the way, K-State's still leading the nation in three-point scoring. No big deal or anything like that. Wyatt basically gave us the player breakdown. I'll give you kind of everything else. He was really spot on about it. Pretty much used up all my notes, so I can kind of skip over that part. Tulsa, off to a 3-0 start. Their wins are over Oklahoma Christian, not D1, Rhode Island, D1, and Oral Roberts, D1. Now, that Oral Roberts game does stand out to me because that was only a 1-point win for Tulsa. And in that game, Oral Roberts, by the way, is 1-3. And Tulsa won that game by a single point. Oral Roberts was leading at halftime. Tulsa did shoot the ball very well. They got to the free throw line 36 times. But their defense, Tulsa's defense, gave up 14 threes. They gave up 10 in the first half. There were 19 lead changes. Now, that kind of is a sign of what I'm about to get to here. What is the number one thing that stands out to me about Tulsa? They are a team that likes to get to the free throw line. They are 16th in the nation as they attempt 33 free throws per game. They make 24 of those per game. That is 17th in the country. Their three-point shooting is also very comparable to K-State's three-point shooting. Their percentage is a little lower, of course. K-State's 54%. Tulsa is 47%, but still really solid. And they make 9 a game. K-State makes 12 a game. 2-point field goals, 50%. They would like that to be better if you're Tulsa. And both teams are... well, now I lost my place here. I'm sorry about that. I wrote a note down and I completely butchered it. I left some details out. I will skip over it. I don't think it's that crucial, apparently. Let's get to turnovers. Tulsa makes 13 a game. That's where K-State, though, it's been a bit of a bugaboo so far. 17 turnovers per game. Still need to get that cleaned up. Even with a weak schedule, teams are still shooting 48% overall against Tulsa. K-State, though, is allowing 46.7%. Though K-State has been challenged certainly recently more than Tulsa when it comes to quality of opponent, we think. Teams are shooting 39% from 3 against Tulsa. That's 3.5% worse than K-State. 56% from 2. Look, what I'm getting at here is I think Tulsa's defense is worse than K-State's. They're a worse defense than K-State, so that could mean a couple of things. But one big contrast between these two teams, K-State likes to get out and run. Tulsa does not like to get out and run. They are not a fast break team, just 6 points per game in fast break. They give up exactly 32 points in the paint each game they have played this year, so K-State should find some easy buckets down low. And like Wyatt mentioned, David Green, Miles Barnstable, and Tylen Riley, their point guard, are the 3 players you got to watch out for. They do have 3 other players that average at least 8 points or more, but nobody over 6'7" is playing a ton of minutes. So they're not going to put out the biggest lineup against K-State. However, we can't make a prediction until we look at famous alumni. You know, these are going to be 3 famous alumni. Can they make a difference in tonight's game or not? First, we're going to start with Rue McClanahan. No, she is not related to Simon McClanahan. I thought that'd get a better laugh.
Mainly because that's not his last name?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's what Kleiman says.
Good.
Simon Clannon. He says Simon McClanahan. I've never heard of anybody with the last name McClanahan until Rue McClanahan. What is she known for?
Golden Girls.
Yes. Good job. Very good. Blanche from the Golden Girls. MitchPom basically likes all the other Golden Girls more than Blanche. Blanche is MitchPom's least favorite Golden Girl.
That's a tough take.
Really?
Look. I don't know. I think it goes. I think Sophia's my number 1.
Absolutely.
Ride or die. Then you got to go Rose.
Fair. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think then you go. Oh man.
B Arthur.
Yeah, so maybe she is last. She's last, but only because there has to be someone that's last.
I'm forgetting her name, too. Her name on the show. B. Arthur's character's name. Anyway, you look that up. I'm going to get to the next famous alumni. Doug McMillan. He is the CEO of Walmart. I'm sure this guy is very rich. I wonder if he's giving any money to Tulsa. There's got to be a few bucks coming in. But Walmart... Obviously, they're going to go to Arkansas.
Dorothy.
That's
bad. That's bad by us. But that's okay.
I haven't watched Golden Girls in a long time, but finally, the last famous alumni for Tulsa, Dr. Phil. TV personality, psychologist, kind of. My dad likes Dr. Phil, but MitchPom is more of a Dr. Phil by Adam Ray fan. Familiar?
I am familiar.
Lindsay and I saw him last summer in Kansas City. Awesome show. Adam Ray as Dr. Phil. Very entertaining. Look, Ken Palm says Cats get it done 84%. Final score 86-75. Look, I think Tulsa has a bad defense. K-State is going to continue to score some points. There's no way that K-State, I believe, doesn't get to the 90s tonight. I'm going to go a little bit further than that, though, because I think a couple of big keys here. K-State needs to get out in transition. I think that's going to be a tough thing for Tulsa to stop. K-State has to do a good job of defending without fouling because Tulsa wants to get to the free throw line. I'm going to bump that up to 92% chance that the Cats win tonight. And your final score, 103-91.
It's pretty good.
103-91. Cole?
94-78.
78 points.
Yep.
That's it?
Yep. 94-78.
And K-State next takes another big jump defensively?
I mean, it's Tulsa. 94-78. Not to say it's like K-State's defense is going to be amazing, but I just don't feel confident in Tulsa's ability to score the rock.
Well, and look, when I did the Cal MitchPom, I looked at the numbers, I did the breakdown, I'm like, this team doesn't scare me. It's what I said. This Cal team doesn't scare me. Numbers-wise as well, this Tulsa team doesn't scare me. But I got to account for the comeback factor and the hot shooting factor.
17 and a half threes made in the second half.
Well, I mean, two of the last 4 games we've seen K-State play, the opponent was lights out from 3.
Saying Tulsa doesn't scare me also discounts the past horrors that K-State has faced against Tulsa.
It's true. If history were to play a factor like famous alumni does. But MitchPom looked right past it. Cats win big tonight, 103-91 final score. All right, I got to balance. These two guys are going to take over the rest of the way. Tim and Cole. I'll see you in Bramlage tonight. Go Cats.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider, ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
You just never know when dominance is going to end. Maybe we're seeing that right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. They have dominated their division. All 7 years that Patrick Mahomes coming into the season has been a starting quarterback. All 7 years they've won the AFC West. All 7 years they played an AFC Championship game. Well, one of those two things is not going to happen this year. The way the Denver Broncos showed their toughness and Bo Nix going from no Nix to Bo Nix in the fourth quarter, leading the Broncos to that victory at the buzzer against the Kansas City Chiefs. And now the Chiefs are way behind the Denver Broncos. Broncos at 9-2, Chiefs at 5-5. I still believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to find a way to get into the playoffs. They have way too much of a pedigree and too much talent and coaching ability to be on the outside looking in, although stranger things have happened before. But in terms of that aura, that fear factor, that may have gone by the wayside, and that may not be coming back anytime soon for Kansas City. In 60 seconds, wasn't much ado about nothing regarding Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Well, that was fun. Last week, A.J. Brown going on Twitch, part of a gaming live stream thing, saying that he is struggling. If you got him on a fantasy team, don't start on the fantasy team. Everybody having conversations about how much more can we make A.J. Brown happy, and then what do the Eagles do? They do what the Eagles have always done in Philadelphia, especially under Nick Sirianni. They take that kind of fuel, make it part of their fire. They win the game because their defense is a championship elite type of defense. In the last 6 games against 2 pretty good offenses, in Green Bay and Detroit, both of those teams combined for 16 points, 7 by Green Bay and 9 by Detroit on Sunday night. So for all the bluster and everything else involving A.J. Brown, what do the Eagles do? They just internalize it and do what they normally do. That is go out there and win games against top-flight competition. Remember, you've been warned. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, overcast skies, 70 degrees, wind out of the south at around 7 miles per hour. Tonight, patchy fog before 8 in the morning, mainly starting after 4 a.m. with an overnight low of 44. After that fog tomorrow morning, partly sunny skies and a high near 61. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, a low around 39 as we head to Wednesday, mostly sunny and a high near 64. 40% chance of showers with a high near 64 on Thursday. Mitch and Tim with you. Mitch and Tim. I just introduced myself as Mitch, man. Cole and Tim with you on this dreary Monday afternoon, hour 2 of the game. Landing the plane here on News Radio KMAN. Mitch on his way to PA, K-State in Tulsa. I'll be there. Tim, you going to the game tonight?
I am not. I have some other things that I gotta get done, and then I'll be there.
K-State Tulsa. Like there's more important games down the line.
There are.
One thing I wanted to do, Tim, just as we bring the show to a close, we didn't talk a ton about women's basketball earlier, and you now as the Mercury's beat writer for women's basketball, I value your opinion highly in this matter, so I wanted to talk to you and really ask you a few questions on whether or not this 2-game losing streak, and again, it's 2 games, it's very early season, very young team, if it's really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And I'll start with a couple of my caveats to not really caring that much that they've lost these 2 games. The first would be kind of what I just said. This is a really, really young team. It's a lot of freshmen. It's a lot of players who haven't played a ton in college. Look at Isela Arenas. Look at Cotton as 2 examples for that. And it's going to, as we knew before the season, I mean, we said this is going to be a team that's maybe not great in the beginning of the year and probably will be pretty solid at the end of the year just because it takes that time to gel and get used to the college game. But also, down Nastia Claessens against South Dakota. I think they win that game with Nastia on the floor starting. And then also down Janessa against Texas A&M. And then also throw in Nastia for that game as well. So are you ultimately that concerned with their 2-game losing streak?
No, I wouldn't say that I'm concerned at all, really. I think that the second half versus Texas A&M really kind of showed where some breakthroughs had been made. The last couple games they've had to put some very young, very inexperienced players in positions that they probably haven't been in before. And that, when you don't have the amount of veteran leadership that K-State has had in the past, they have some, but not a whole lot. It's just going to take those players time to, know how to, do the right thing, to know just how to play at the college level. I asked Coach Mitty yesterday about he subbed Anaya Foy, one of K-State's freshmen, in, and just immediately, like less than a minute, she got subbed out and had did not look very fun conversation on the sideline with her, and it was about effort. It was about, hey, you're not sprinting back after a turnover. You're not doing the little things we need to do. Coach Mitty said, look, I'm patient. I know that we're going to run into these growing pains problems with this team, and I can deal with that, and I can help them grow and make the right decisions. But if you're not going to try, then that patience is going to get used up really quick. And to Anaya's credit, she was corrected, and she was much better for the rest of the game, and played a key part in K-State getting that close and almost coming away with a win. So it's it's just going to be a process. It just is. You hope that Jordan Spicer starts to consistently make 4 or 5 threes a game. That's going to be helpful. Azella Harinas hasn't really, been on top of it offensively as much as she was in those first 2 games. That's got to come around. Gina Garcia has been a lot better than I assumed that she would be. But she has a lot to grow, and she has a lot of things that she's learning. Brandy Harrod is having to kind of carry the K-State front court right now, and that's difficult. So it's just going to take some time. But Mitty said it yesterday. If you're not seeing growth, if you're not seeing progress, then you're not watching the same game that we're watching, because you can see it. And when you do see it, it's exciting to see.
You said it in the beginning of at the end of hour 1 as well. It's similar to 2021 in that it's a bunch of young players, and I'm really excited to see how they continue to grow and evolve as players individually, also as players on the team. I think there's a ton of talent. You saw kind of the first sighting of Jordan Spicer's ability to shoot the ball, and she also had a pretty good couple of minutes at the end of the South Dakota game. I thought she had a big 3 and then also got a steal on one of South Dakota's possessions. So it's good to see her hitting some shots, and she said her shot was feeling really good over the past couple of days, so I'm excited to see her continue to progress. You mentioned Gina. She's one of my favorite players. She might be my favorite player other than Taryn Sides, and also Taryn was kind of a little limited against Texas A&M as well, so throw that caveat on there as well. But I'm glad that we're in the same headspace on this, and really I get back to really excited to watch this team continue to grow and mature. Well, there's a lot of big games this week in the Big 12, whether it's on the gridiron or on the basketball court, starting with the school out east. They're heading to Iowa State, Kansas at Iowa State, 11 a.m. kick in Ames. KU has won 3 straight over the Cyclones. These 3 teams kind of have a little love triangle going on with streaks, as KU always beats Iowa State, it seems like now. Iowa State always beats K-State, and we know K-State and KU, how that one's gone. Jayhawks still trying to get bowl eligible. They kind of need to win this one because their last game of the year, I believe, is at Utah.
It is. Look, it's not where I would want to be if I were them. It's a tough place to be. Now, they do have history on their side. They have been good against Iowa State, and Iowa State is definitely not the same Iowa State team that K-State played when they played in Dublin to start the season. So can they?
It's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, I would not bet on this at all. I would stay far away from it because I have literally no idea. But whoever loses this one it's going to be a real rough
kick in the shorts
day for them. Absolutely.
Baylor and Arizona kick at noon. Nothing crazy to note for this other than Arizona is much better than I thought they were going to be. Their biggest win of the season last week at number 25, Cincinnati. You mentioned Houston. Outside chance it's still making it to Arlington. They still only have 2 losses in Big 12 play. Not sure where it lies with tiebreakers and everything, but if they beat TCU, they're still right in the mix. All they would really need is a BYU loss to Cincinnati. That's the one we'll go to next. Biggest game of the week in the Big 12. Really one of the biggest games in college football this week. There's only 3 top 25 matchups because this is the cupcake week for the SEC where they're playing Samford and Illinois State and et cetera, et cetera. BYU would essentially lock up an Arlington appearance because their last game is against the UCF. So a huge one in Cincinnati this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Scott Satterfield has to kind of show the country that this season wasn't a fluke. If they lose, this will be 3 in a row.
Yeah.
That's bad. One quick note that I will say about the Baylor-Arizona game. Arizona wins that game. There's already a lot of discontent in Waco concerning head coaching matters with Dave Aranda. If they lose again, I don't know. We may be looking at a new head coach in Baylor for next year.
A few more football games. Oklahoma at UCF. Someone has to win, I guess. And then Arizona State at Colorado. A couple of big Big 12 basketball games as well. KU at Duke. Will Darren Peterson play? How does KU look in their second real game of the season? Duke is really, really good. A lot of talented players on that team. And the biggest one probably across either sport, Arizona and UConn. 4 versus 3, 2 undefeated squads. That'll be a fun one to watch. We got a full 2 hours tomorrow. Stay tuned. K-State and Tulsa coming your way here at the top of the hour. For Mitch, who's at Bramlage right now, for Tim across the glass, I'm Cole. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Getting you closer to the locker room than anyone else. This is Wildcat Insider. Wildcat Insider, an exclusive presentation of the flagship station of the K-State Sports Network. News Radio 1350, KMAN.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the holidays. In this corner, the challengers, lacing up their boots, scanning